Welcome to Dark Screams. Tonight, we're exploring a chilling true crime case that will leave you questioning the darkness that lurks within human nature. In the shadows of New York City, a sinister predator stalked his prey, leaving a trail of death and deception in his wake. The case would go on to shock the nation, sparking a 13-year investigation that would ultimately lead to the arrest of a man who seemed to have it all. Join me as we look into the twisted world of Rex Heuermann, a man accused of murdering multiple women, sex workers he allegedly hired, murdered, and buried in the grassy brushes of Long Island's Gilgo Beach. Gilgo Beach, Long Island, a picturesque coastal community, known for its serene beaches and scenic hiking trails. But in 2010, this tranquil landscape would become the backdrop for a gruesome discovery. On December 11, 2010, a Suffolk County police officer and his K-9 unit were searching for a missing woman, Shannon Gilbert, when they stumbled upon a human skeleton in the dense brush of Gilgo Beach. The remains were later identified as those of Melissa Barthelemy, a 24-year-old sex worker from New York City. But Melissa's body was just the beginning of a sinister puzzle. Over the next several weeks, police would discover 9 more bodies, all women, all sex workers, and all dumped in the same general area of Gilgo Beach. The victims were from different walks of life, but they shared a common fate. They were all preyed upon by a calculating killer, who saw them as disposable. The discovery of the 10 bodies sent shockwaves through the community, and sparked one of the largest and most complex investigations in Long Island's history. Detectives and forensic experts worked tirelessly to identify the victims, and piece together the events surrounding their deaths. The investigation involved searching for evidence, collecting DNA samples, and analyzing fingerprints. But the killer had left few clues, and the case remained a puzzle. As the investigation unfolded, detectives discovered that the murders had taken place over a period of nearly 20 years. The killer had been active since the early 1990s, and had managed to evade capture for decades. The police released composite sketches of the suspect, and sought tips from the public. But the killer remained at large, and the case went cold. 13 years after the first body was discovered, police finally had a breakthrough in the case. The suspect was identified as Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old businessman from Manhattan. Heuermann was a successful businessman with a seemingly normal life. But behind closed doors, he led a dark and sinister double life. Heuermann's business dealings took him to the streets of Manhattan, where he would frequent sex workers. It was during these encounters that he would allegedly target and murder his victims. Heuermann's MO was calculated and precise. He would hire sex workers, take them to secluded areas, and then murder them. He would then dispose of their bodies in the brush of Gilgo Beach. On July 13, 2023, Heuermann was arrested at his Manhattan office and charged with multiple counts of murder. His arrest brought closure to the families of the victims, but also raised questions about how he was able to evade capture for so long. On July 13, 2023, Rex Heuermann's reign of terror finally came to an end. He was arrested at his Manhattan office, charged with multiple counts of murder. The arrest was the culmination of a 13-year investigation, which involved countless hours of detective work, forensic analysis, and tireless efforts by the families of the victims. Heuermann's arraignment was an emotional moment for the families of the victims, who had waited over a decade for justice. If convicted, Heuermann faces life in prison without parole. The case has also raised questions about the accountability of law enforcement and the safety of sex workers. The Gilgo Beach murders will forever be etched in the memories of the families of the victims and the community. But with Heuermann's arrest, there is finally a sense of closure and justice. The Gilgo Beach murders are a sobering reminder of the darkness that exists in our world. Rex Heuermann's crimes are a stark example of the devastating consequences of unchecked power and privilege. But even in the face of such evil, there is hope. The families of the victims have shown remarkable strength and resilience, and their pursuit of justice has ensured that Rex Heuermann will be held accountable for his crimes. The memories of the victims will live on, and their stories will serve as a reminder of the importance of justice, accountability, and compassion. Rest in peace, Melissa Barthelemy, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Amber Lynn Costello, Megan Waterman, and the other victims of the Gilgo Beach murders. May your memories never be forgotten. Hit the subscribe button for more stories.